Everybody, red button means we're live. Some casual takes episode 71 down on my script, and we are on episode 72. We're getting up there in age. Hosted by your boy Stephen Pepper here to casually talk sports. This episode is brought to you by no one. It is Monday, October 30th, the day before Halloween. It's spooky season. I'm sorry for no show on Friday. I was supposed to have one. There was actually Dude, it was crazy because LeBron was clutch. I was excited. The Lakers won. Dame went crazy in his debut. It wasn't crazy last night on the Thursday Night Football. I had a great Friday show lined up, but of course, I had a Halloween party, was up late. I couldn't give you guys a sloppy show. So I came here. I'm revamped for this show on Monday. You guys know we talk majority football on the Monday slate, but we are going to talk about the Lakers versus Kings overtime. Bengals, 49ers, Rams versus Cowboys, and then my Indianapolis Colts to wrap up the show as well. Now that it's Lakers season, we're always going to talk about the Lakers on this show, and then we're always talking about my Colts. But we got some games I want to talk about. First, the Bengals, the 49ers. The Cincinnati Bengals went into San Francisco and won 31-17. The San Francisco 49ers, they're looking a little human. I said on TikTok Live, you guys make sure you follow my TikTok, Some Casual Takes, after Monday night's loss last week to the Vikings, that the 49ers are starting to look human. They lost to the Browns, okay? It was a tough one, but okay, it's the Browns. Now Kirk Cousins Vikings, when they were below 500. The 49ers are looking human. Meaning they blew out. Everyone said this was by far the best team in football when they blew out the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday night like 42-10. I did too. I thought this was the best team in the league. Now they dropped 3 straight. This team's beatable. And I don't even think this is a top 3 team in the NFL anymore. This team is extremely beatable. And the reason why they're extremely beatable is because of their weakest link, Mr. Brock Purdy. I think we can all admit now we overreacted to Brock Purdy. We can all admit we can pump the brakes. Like, let's pump the brakes on Brock Purdy. We can all admit we overreacted. I'm so mad at myself about Brock Purdy too, because I was one of those guys who, despite him never losing a regular season game, I think he got to 11-0, 12-0 before he lost a game. I was, for the longest, one of those guys who was saying Brock Purdy is more of a system quarterback than he is to a good one. Brock Purdy, I see a lot of the scheme in Brock Purdy. Although he is good, I still see a lot of the scheme going for him. And if that's kind of taken away, then how good is Brock Purdy really? And a lot of people were like, oh, you don't have no idea what you're talking about. Give him some credit. And then he blew out the Cowboys and looked so much better than Dak Prescott in that game that I kind of overreacted and came on here, finally gave in to the Brock Purdy train and said, Brock Purdy's really, really good. He might be better than Dak Prescott. Well, I'll admit that I was wrong because let's be real. Brock Purdy, he's okay. He's good, but he's nowhere close to elite. That's who we have as Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is honestly just Jimmy G, just a bit better of a playmaker. That's it. Brock Purdy last night against the Bengals, 22 of 31. He threw for 365 yards, but what 365 yards means. He's a bit of a box score merchant. It's more of his best receivers, just taking screens and taking dump offs and wide opens to like 15 extra yards a yak. 2 interceptions, 2 sacks, but did throw a touchdown. He also fumbled. Brock Purdy, 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions in the last 3 games. And these interceptions are like inexcusable. These aren't like tip balls at the line of scrimmage. These are like thrown to the defender, really ugly. That one in the red zone was really, really ugly. That got taken away from him. The ball gets stripped from him as a fumble as well. These are back-breaking, boneheaded turnovers. 2 weeks after saying Brock Purdy never, ever has bone-breaking, back-breaking, disgusting turnovers. And now in these last couple weeks, 5 interceptions, 6 turnovers in total. Not good. Like, what makes Brock Purdy good is he doesn't do the boneheaded, back-breaking turnovers. He can facilitate Shanahan's offense and throw with anticipation and throw to spots where his receivers can go get it. But when that gets taken away, when he throws to anticipation, but his receivers aren't in the spot and those get jumped and they end up becoming turnovers, and now Brock Purdy's playing from behind, he doesn't look that good. Kyle Shanahan has yet to win a game in the fourth quarter down at least 8 points. 8 points, I know it's 8 points, touchdown, 2-point conversion. 8 points with that talented roster shouldn't be that hard. But I think he's like 0-36 in his career. It's a quarterback issue. With a Burrow on a sideline, with a Mahomes Allen, down 8, fourth quarter. Why bet that? They're winning that game. But with a Brock Purdy, Jimmy G, chances of you winning that game, it's on the quarterback. Brock Purdy's the weak link. He is. Like Joe Burrow yesterday. If you guys pay attention, if you guys have ever paid attention in your English class, you know the concept of a foil character. Joe Burrow yesterday against the 49ers was a foil character to Brock Purdy. A foil character is a supporting character in a story whose purpose is to have contrasting personalities to the main character to further draw attention to the main character's abilities. Joe Burrow, better arm, better decision-making, better playmaker, better everything than Brock Purdy. Better at everything. And last night, Joe Burrow on the sideline, him being there against San Francisco, that performance that Joe Burrow had, him being on the sideline against the 49ers yesterday, highlighted all the negative qualities that Brock Purdy has. Joe Burrow is the foil character to Brock Purdy. I mean, Joe Burrow last night, 3 touchdowns, 4 incompletions, no interceptions. Brock Purdy had a 10 incompletions, 3 turnovers. Burrow, better arm, better decision maker, better playmaker, better mobility, better accuracy. He on the sideline, him having that performance in San Francisco made Brock Purdy's performance more alarming because that's what an elite quarterback looks like. Like, dude, imagine Joe Burrow on this San Francisco 49ers roster. That might be a 3-time Super Bowl champion. That's kind of what we have. That's what Joe Burrow is, the foil character to Brock Purdy. He's better at everything. And Brock Purdy, he's kind of gotten away with it with the winning, but the fact that he lost was down in the game, had turnovers. Burrow was clean, led the game. You saw 2 quarterbacks, clear contrasting abilities. So we can just admit that Brock Purdy is just, he's okay. He's just not that good. Now on to the Bengals, which immediately after the game, a lot of my family members are Bengals fans. They were texting me, are the Bengals back? Was this the actual game where the Bengals showed that they're back? What a win for the Bengals. And I got to say, of course they are. Like, this is like, if you want a we back game, I know they play Buffalo next week, but if you want a we back game, how about going into San Francisco and playing the 49ers and that roster that has a plethora of Hall of Famers? I think I need to learn how to trust Joe Burrow in September. I think I'm done hating on the Bengals in August, in September. I think I'm done because for these last 3 years, this team has just gotten away with playing like crap in the first couple months. Burrow, no preseason. He hasn't had much of a preseason because of the ACL injury, the appendicitis he had. And then now with the calf, he hasn't had a preseason. The team always looks sloppy in September. And then you're like, okay, the Bengals don't look that good. And then in October, they're above 500, about to go on a win streak, which looks like they are. And they run the table. Like, this is just, I guess, who the Bengals are. And I got to trust them in August, September. Earlier they beat the Rams, Monday Night Football. But I thought the Rams kind of beat them in that game if it wasn't for a couple Stafford turnovers. The Cardinals, it's the Cardinals at the end of the day. I think they got 1 win. And Seattle completely outgained the Cincinnati Bengals, despite the Bengals winning that game. It was just because of a couple Geno turnovers. So I wasn't really impressed with their wins earlier, but now this is like the we back game. Like, this launches the Bengals into Super Bowl contention. And why does it launch them in Super Bowl contention? Because of a guy named Joe Burrow. This team goes as far as Joe Burrow goes. The first couple weeks of the season, all to week 8, they had the worst offense in the NFL in terms of total yards. Everything there at the bottom, like passing yards, scoring, they were bad. Third down, red zone. This team was at the bottom in pretty much every category. And most of that has to do with their limited playbook, limited of Joe Burrow's ability to step up in the pocket, scramble, play, make, plant for a deep throw. He couldn't off his calf. But now, somehow, he's a lot healthier than I expected him to be. I knew he was going to be bit healthier than he was in week 1 in a week 8, but he looks almost completely fully healthy, and it's showing. Now they look like a contender. Like Burrow, this offense, 30 first downs, 400 total yards. That offense was averaging like 230 total yards of offense in the first 8 weeks. They had 400 total yards on a San Francisco defense that I really like and 30 first downs. They completely moved the trains. That first drive was insane. And also a key thing that the Cavs healthy now is Burrow's playmaking ability is one of his best attributes. You saw him on the first drive just break out of Joey Bosa and a lot of great defensive linemen's grasp. I think he threw to Jamar Chase on that one for a first down. It was an excellent play. Burrow's scrambling ability, and he's not the fastest guy in the world, but his ability to play extend is one of the things that make him one of the better quarterbacks in the league. He had a key 43 rushing yards in the game, and that's also due to his calf being healthy. Burrow's just insane last night. 19 completed passes at one point in a row. Like, that's insane. And Jamar Chase said last night, all you need now, welcome back, Burrow. Welcome back. That's what he said. All you need is to say now, welcome back. I guess welcome back, Joe Burrow. The Bengals are officially back. Of course, I want to see how they play Buffalo, but what more do I need to see after they beat San Francisco in this fashion? 31-17, a San Francisco 49ers team that puts up like 30 a game. That's what you get. Like, the Bengals now are 4-3. They're tied for second in the division. It's like nothing happened. It's like nothing happened. Like, it's like they had all those losses at the end of the season. Now they're 4-3. Division's still winnable. They can make the playoffs with a win in Buffalo. They're pretty much in the playoffs. It's like nothing happened. And today, if you were to ask me how many teams would you pick over the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't even think I can put a full hand number of teams, especially in the AFC. I mean, the Ravens, I'll give the Ravens the edge right now because they look really good. Just blew Detroit out. Plus, they beat Bengals earlier in the season. I'd give the Ravens the edge right now. I would always give Kansas City the edge right now, but that Kansas City gap is pretty close. I think the Bengals are better than than the Miami Dolphins. I just think they are. I think they actually have impressive wins on their resume, unlike the Miami Dolphins. And Buffalo, as much as I love Buffalo, they're really injured, and Josh Allen's more turnover prone than Joe Burrow. Other than that, and in the NFC, they just beat San Francisco. Other than Philly, I would take the Bengals over Dallas. There might only be like 4 teams I'd take over Cincinnati. That's crazy to see that this team was like 1-3 2 days ago. That's crazy. All right, let's go to the Rams and Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys at home against the Rams won 43-20. I'm not impressed. I know it's crazy. How are you not impressed? Like, what do you mean you're not impressed? The Cowboys just won by 23 points, 43 points. How are you not impressed? Guys, you pay attention to this show? Whenever I talk about the Cowboys, what do I say? These are the type of games that the Cowboys win. Dak Prescott at home, below 500 opponent, team with a lead, clean game, relatively, thanks to a wide open CeeDee Lamb and a defense and special teams always putting the ball in the end zone. Those are the games Dak Prescott and the Cowboys win. Also, McCarthy is excellent off buys. I don't think he's lost off a buy in his Cowboys career. And with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers, he was extremely well. Had a well above 500 record off a buy. And it also helps when Deron Bland, a good corner, has 3 pick sixes and it's only week 8. The game was pretty much over in the first quarter. It was 17-3. Just like that. They had a field goal, Dak touchdown, and then the pick 6 pretty much, put the game away. That was it. The Cowboys, why I'm not so impressed is they have not beaten a team above 500 yet. I mean, do you want to count the Jets? Do you guys want to count the Jets? The Jets technically were 1-0, just came off a Buffalo win. So technically they're above 500 then, and they are above 500 today because they're 4-3. But let's be real. That was Zach Wilson's first start off Aaron Rodgers' injury. And the Jets might have the worst offense in the league. The Cowboys should roll the Jets. They should roll the Jets. Like, I'm not, like, that doesn't count as a 500 win to me. A 500 win is like beating the 49ers like the Bengals just did. That's what I call a quality win. The opposite, like, the games that the Cowboys lose are on the road against an above 500 team. Dak doesn't have the lead. And he's not playing that much of a clean game. He's got multiple interceptions. CeeDee Lamb is getting put the clamps on him or halfway clamped up by an actual real corner that, the Rams don't have. And a defense and his special teams, Michael Parsons isn't getting home to the quarterback. And the defense and special teams aren't getting pick sixes, block punts, and safeties to help extend the lead for the Cowboys that the offense couldn't do. And they're struggling in the red zone. I mean, yesterday, below 500 team, Dak Prescott at home was playing with a lead, comfortable, because after that first drive touchdown, his defense had a pick six, blocked punt, safety. Rams don't have a number one corner. CeeDee Lamb was wide open. Wide open. That's the games that the Cowboys win. We saw against San Francisco the opposite of that, and they lost like 42-10. I will give Dak credit, though, because he was really, really good. 25 of 31, 304 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had 1 pick, but it didn't seem to change anything in the game because it was pretty much over. Matt Stafford also did get injured. CeeDee Lamb was just phenomenal. It sucks because it was just after the game I traded him. In fantasy, he had 12 receptions for 158 and 2 touchdowns. A lot of it was in the first half, too. He had like 2 touchdowns and 100 yards in the first half. That's what CeeDee Lamb did. I will be impressed if they go into Philly this Sunday and take the division. But as of right now, I am not truly impressed. Now, going into Philly, because the Cowboys are 5-2, the Eagles, I believe, are 6-2. They go into Philly, get the win. They have a better record and the advantage in the division. I said earlier this season, I always thought the Cowboys had the makings to win this division. If they win, that's a win over a real 500 team, then I'd come on here and say, okay, I'm impressed by the Cowboys. They beat Philly. I might say the Cowboys are a Super Bowl team. I actually might. But until they can show me they get this impressive win, because they've won by 23 points or more at all their home games. They're all below 500 teams, not real competition. They go on the road, play a better team. They lose that game. Dak Prescott doesn't look all that hot. Even the Chargers win. The Chargers are, below 500 still. They beat Philly, then I'll change my mind. But until then, I'm not impressed. This is what I expect Dallas to do. They're so talented at home. Defense is scores a bunch of points. This is what I expect out of them. Okay, time to talk a little basketball before we pivot back to my Colts. Let's talk about the Lakers. First Lakers talk of the season. Lost last night. Tough loss. It's frustrating. 132 to 127 in Sacramento, overtime game. It's frustrating. It was also funny, too, because it was the 20th anniversary of LeBron's debut, and LeBron also debuted in Sacramento, so same day, October 29th in Sacramento, 20 years later. I think LeBron probably is about to make a post about that, too, because he always does. I mean, why wouldn't you not? It's an insane feat. But today I'm frustrated with this loss. Lakers sit at 1-2. I'm concerned about the Lakers. Oh, my God. It's just 3 games in the season. How can you be concerned about the Lakers? I am very concerned about the Lakers. Well, not very, because it is 3 games in the season. But I am concerned about the Lakers. LeBron and AD combined for 60 and 30 and lost. Lakers should win every game with those stats. I always say about the Lakers, if Anthony Davis, he had 30 and 16. If Anthony Davis has 30 and 15 and LeBron can drop at least 25 and 10 and 6, the Lakers have a good enough supporting cast to win pretty much every single one of those games, despite who they play. I don't even care if they play the Nuggets. And they lost. How? I'll tell you how. Despite the Lakers duo playing great this season, they're 1-2. But let's be real. They should be 0-3. Despite having such a great offseason, the Lakers seemed like against the Nuggets, they picked up where they left off and got stomped in Denver. And they lost to a Sacramento team on the road that everyone thinks the Lakers are in a tier above. And then they beat Phoenix in Los Angeles, but no Booker, no Beal. Kevin Durant had to play with his second best player being Eric Gordon. And LeBron had to play all fourth quarter minutes and be extremely clutch down the stretch to even win that game. The Lakers are 3 games in this season, and I already see major bumps that if the Lakers don't smooth, there's no way this squad beats an actual team. First of all, we got to get the elephant in the room out the way. His name's Darvin Ham. I don't know Ham's issue. He refuses to play significant minutes in big spots to a bigger lineup. Christian Wood, Rui Hachimura, got him for cheap in the offseason. Well, we re-signed Rui Hachimura, but he also came back on a cheap deal, and we got him last year via trade in a fleece for Kendrick Nunn. Christian Wood's making minimum. Dude, these are fleece guys that we're getting for cheap. Great depth, solid role players that we've been praising all offseason, helped the Lakers win. We're bigger than we were last year, and these guys played great last night. They barely missed a shot. The two went 6 for 9 combined, 22 points out the two, 11 rebounds. So you got two players who combined it for 22 points, 11 rebounds, only missed 3 shots. No one played more than 17 minutes. Huh? Even Jackson Hayes had 2 rebounds, 4 points in his 7 minutes. They're just playing Anthony Davis at the 5. I get it. NBA wants to go small. Anthony Davis is a good center, and I like Anthony Davis playing center for a lot of the game. But there should be points against a smaller team down the stretch. We need rebounds. Anthony Davis absolutely has to pivot to the 4, or he plays at the 5, and then we have a 4, not LeBron, not Taurean Prince. And it's like a Rui, Christian Wood, Jackson Hayes. We get bigger. Because the issue is if you do pick and rolls when Anthony Davis is the big man, then Anthony Davis is out on the perimeter. The paint is wide open for defenders. The Golden State last year tried to expose that in the playoffs. Then rebounds are wide open. The paint's open. You can't have Anthony Davis playing help defense on the perimeter. It's not good for our defense. It's not good for our rebound. It's not good for second chance points. But if we're bigger, then that pick and roll defender is going to be Rui Hachimura, Christian Wood, or those guys go shift to the paint. Taurean Prince is not a 4, especially not a 4 in big spots. Like the Lakers need to use their size to their advantage. Darvin Ham, too. It's just in bed with small guards. Last year was Dennis Schroeder, who's small. And then this year, it's the newcomer, Gabe Vincent. Why is Gabe Vincent playing 32 minutes? Why? Why is Gabe Vincent's playing 32 minutes? Why is Taurean Prince the 4 down the stretch, big spots of the game? Let me get a height check on Taurean Prince, bro. Taurean Prince is 6'6". Why is he the 4? Big spots. I don't get the small ball lineup thing that Darvin Ham does. Listen, I get it. Some of you guys want to still give him a pass because he helped get to a Western Conference Finals. But I'm old enough to remember a LeBron-led team in Cleveland quickly moving off David Blatt after a frustrating start, even though David Blatt was a coach that appeared in the finals. Listen, I've been calling for this man Darvin Ham's fired before the playoffs started. I've saw this ever since he became the head coach, the small ball lineup thing. He refuses to play another big alongside Anthony Davis for a long period of time. On the factuation of one guard off the bench, the bench guard role player, Schroeder, and now it's Gabe Vincent. They get 30 minutes a night, although they aren't like 6-man of the year award winning type bench players. Like out of all the teams, and this is the second thing for the Lakers, outside of the small ball thing, out of all the playoff teams, the Lakers by far have the worst guard play in the league. Like out of all the playoff teams, the Lakers by far have the worst guard play. D'Angelo Russell's cool. Say what you want about D'Lo. That's a cool 14 to 15 points we'll take every night, but it's on bad efficiency. Reeves? Hey, bro, you going to clock in, dude? Reeves last night, 1 for 12 in 28 minutes. I guess Reeves just is still like used to playing FIBA basketball, their rims, their balls, and just hasn't adjusted to the NBA yet. Because how the hell do you go 1 for 12 in 30 minutes? And Vincent is proving to Lakers fans once again that once a key offseason signing dons a Lakers gear, he instantly turns into a scrub. Montrezl Harrell, 6-man of the year candidate. No, he won 6-man of the year. Goes to the Lakers, becomes a scrub. Think about all these guys who go to the Lakers. Russell Westbrook averages a triple-double for like 4 straight years. Goes to the Lakers. They become dirt. Like Gabe Vincent, why is this dude playing 35 minutes a night? Contributing 2 points. Like, put a shot up, dude. This dude, Gabe Vincent, had so much promise. 3rd leading scorer in the NBA Finals, like 20 a game. Then he comes here, 32 minutes, only puts up 3 shots. And he can't play defense without fouling. He had 4 fouls last night. He can't play defense without fouling. D'Angelo Russell, 2 more minutes than LeBron. Listen, I thought this was the year that LeBron James can finally take a little bit of a back seat. Not a full back seat, because I knew this team wasn't because of Anthony Davis, a little concerns. But LeBron can take a back seat, not to play entire fourth quarters. The depth is so good. They can shoot well, contribute to scoring. LeBron James doesn't have to play entire fourth quarters and overtimes. I didn't think LeBron had to play 40 minutes, but he does. And because of the Lakers' issues, they're too small. I mean, the Lakers did win the rebounding battle last night by like 3. But defensively, the size issue is a problem down the stretch when Darvin Ham plays a small lineup, takes Anthony Davis out the paint and pick and rolls. And the guards shooting, it's bad. And if the guards don't start hitting shots, which I think they will eventually, but if the guards don't start hitting shots and we don't start playing bigger lineups, then there's no way we're going to beat good teams. And then sooner or later, the Lakers are like the 6th seed. And it's like, who's to blame? That we got to trade D'Lo? We got to fire Darvin Ham. You got to do something like that. I think they will figure it out because, shooting's all about just putting the ball in the basket. But it's concerning. They've played only good teams, and they're 1-2 when in reality they should be 0-3. All right, let's wrap up today with the Colts. My Indianapolis Colts played in the Saints. Lost 38-27 in Indy. I think this might be the last game I talk about the Colts for a while because I know at this point you guys know my stance on the Colts season, and we're starting to lose, which is good because you guys know my stance on the Colts, but I might start sounding like a broken record. So every time the Colts lose, I'm going to say the same exact thing I said last week. So this might be the last game we talk about the Colts, but we do have a Panthers, Patriots, Bucks, Titans stretch coming soon. So maybe a win next week. The Panthers did pick up a win. We lose to the Panthers. If we lose to any one of these teams, that would actually be the last day I talk about the Colts on this show because that would be the nail in the coffin to prove what I have to say. Colts fans, take a deep breath. I know a lot of people don't like what I always say about teams. But dude, season's over. There's no point in playing. Anthony Richardson's hurt. What's the point of making the playoffs? What's the point of winning a bunch of games? Gardner Minshew's actually regressing too, so I don't even think playoffs are in the picture anymore. There's no point in playing. We need to keep losing. Losing's good. Hey, I know you want to win, so I compromise. We're not going to I don't want to see a blowout either. I actually want to watch an entertaining game on Sunday. Close, and into the fourth quarter, but a loss. These last 2 games against the Browns, against the Saints, been close, and into the fourth quarter, but a loss. We got to lose these games. It's a good thing for us because watch these games. We have holes, and we need to patch them via the draft. But it's better to lose so you get a higher draft pick. It's time to get a corner. The Saints threw all over us. Derek Carr, the Saints, one of the worst offenses in the league, Derek Carr, not looking too hot this season, threw all over our defense. Derek Carr, only 19 completions for Derek Carr, but threw for 310 yards, almost 12 yards a completion. Rashid Shaheed had 3 catches. How many yards do you think 3 catches produced? Rashid Shaheed, maybe like 30 yards, maybe. No, 153. And a touchdown. 58 yards was the longest. They threw all over us. And then P.J. Walker last game got anything he wanted across the middle of the field, found Amari Cooper during the game-winning drive. The Saints were throwing all over us. We have holes on this defense, and we want a good draft pick, so we got to lose. The Colts are the 6th worst passing defense if you only include teams that played 8 games, giving up 247.3 yards a game. They're also the 4th worst. What was that? They're also 4th worst rushing defense if you take out the teams that have had buys as well. 142 rushing yards a game. And including all teams in the NFL, the Colts have given up the most points per game, 28.6. Our defense isn't good. We need to draft somebody. We're projected to pick 13 right now. I want that to fall to about like 7 or 8 would be good. Listen, we keep winning games. We could be drafting at like 17. There's a big difference. Pull the mock drafts or just look at any year in the league, unless we just get lucky on how players fall. There's a big difference between drafting at like 7, 8, 9 than 17, 18, 19. That's the second best corner to the fourth best corner. That's the like third best tackle, second best DT, second best D end, second best linebacker to the fourth, maybe fifth at that position, depending who gets drafted there. That's a big swing. That's a big talent swing. We're projected to pick 13 right now. Take Penn State's Kalen King. He's a corner. He's a shutdown corner at Penn State. He would fit great for us because we need a shutdown corner. We have a young and experienced defense. We let Stephon Gilmore go. We have young and experienced defense. Let's add another piece into there who can be a cornerstone. We need a cornerstone defender, a cornerstone corner. We have a cornerstone DT. We have a cornerstone linebacker. We need a cornerstone defensive back. Because offensively, I think we're fine. Offensively, I think the Colts are fine. AR, we need to see him play at least one. We need to see him play 1 to 2 full seasons. The backfield, that's the backfield of the future. The offensive line is playing much better. Josh Downs is coming alive, the rookie. Offense has been drafted pretty well. Give it another year, maybe draft some offense in the second, third round. But in the first round, I would love a high draft pick to pick a corner because this team needs it. But if the Colts do want to win in the future, this team has to be a run-first team. What did we do yesterday? JT, 12 carries? Why would you extend Jonathan Taylor if you're only going to give him the ball 12 times? I get it. We were trailing for most of the game. You probably want to pass in trailing situations. Gardner Minshew's quarterback, bud. I don't know what Shane Steichen thinks he has. I get Anthony Richardson went down with an injury, and he's more of a run-first guy, and we were running a lot more earlier in the season with AR. Now Gardner Minshew's not an RPO type guy, zone read type guy like an Anthony Richardson. I get it. But you're treating Gardner Minshew like Peyton Manning's back on the Colts. So, no. Why is Gardner Minshew throwing 41 times? We should be running the ball with Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss. 23 combined carries if you take out one rush from Gardner Minshew. We ran for 164 yards and only 24 carries. That's almost 7 yards a carry and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, Zach Moss broke for 2 runs for over 40 yards. Why are we running the football? Why? The NFL is all about identity. Football is all about identity. You want to win games, you got to understand who you are. Eagles, physical, line of scrimmage, tush push. Bengals, Joe Burrow, chase down the field. Teams understand their identity. That's why they win games. Steichen doesn't understand what the Colts' identity is, and I think it should be pretty clear. It's JT, Zach Moss, offensive line, power run first. And then we have to throw it. We have good enough receivers to throw like 20 to 30 times a game. Not 40. We don't have a number one wide receiver. We don't. Why are we throwing like we have CeeDee Lamb? Why are we throwing like we have A.J. Brown? Why are we throwing like we have Tyreek Hill? Our biggest advantage on offense, especially with AR out, is handing it off to Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor. That's what we should do going forward. But, of course, Steichen doesn't know our identity, and that's also why we're going to keep losing, which is fine because I want us to lose. It's fine. I want us to lose. I think it's best for us to lose. But if we do want to win, because I know coaches, I know front offices don't really tank. They don't try to lose, especially on the roster with as good as the Colts. I don't think this Colts organization and Irsay want to lose. So if they want to win going forward, then run the ball. That's it. But I got nothing else for you guys today. I appreciate you guys for coming in. I will try to have a Friday show. I know I welched last show. I will have a Friday show at around 12 o'clock. But just in case, tap into social media. Some Casual Takes is that's my handle on every single platform. Just in case I have to move the show, something comes up. But I really want to have a Friday show. Sorry, I talked Thursday Night Football and some NBA. But until then, I'll see you guys Friday.